Everyone, it's Miss Marmal, and today we are going to be talking about how to set up your clarinet. The most important part about starting an instrument is setting up your instrument correctly every single time. So if you do not feel confident setting up your instrument after this video, revisit the video, and I encourage you to keep watching the video until you feel confident that you could set up your instrument correctly every single time. As you are ready to start playing your instrument, you want to make sure that your mouth is free from any candy or food. Make sure to rinse your mouth with water. And when you are all set up with your instrument and you finally set it up correctly, please do not share it with anybody, friends, family. You are the person who knows how to handle your instrument the best, and you are responsible for your instrument. So please do not share your instrument with anybody. And last but not least, you really want to make sure that once you're all set up that you do not leave your instrument anywhere where it could be damaged. So that means on a chair, on a stand, or on the edge of your bed. Make sure it's on a flat surface, maybe on top of your case on the floor. Make sure that you are not standing up your instrument on the floor where it could be knocked down and toppled over. Let's go over the parts of the instrument. So first, let's look at the bell. The bell is the bottom part of the clarinet. It looks like this. And make sure to repeat after me so you know the names as well. Then we have the lower joint. So the way that you can tell the difference between the lower joint and the upper joint is that the lower joint is longer. So if we put these two pieces together that kind of look similar, this part is the longer part. So that's how we know that it's the lower joint. So lower joint, and then this is going to be the upper joint, the smaller piece compared to it. From there, we have the barrel, which looks like this. Then we have a mouthpiece cap, and when we take it off, we see a ligature, which is this metal part here, mouthpiece, and last but not least, reeds. Reeds sometimes come in a plastic case like this. You should have a couple reeds, at least a box at home, but you want to make sure that you always have a good rotation of reeds, and you could also buy a proper reed case to rotate your reeds. But this is the standard case that the reeds usually come in. Okay, so let's start to set up the clarinet. The first part that I need is the reed. So I'm going to slide my reed out delicately, and I slide it from the thickest part, which is at the bottom. So this top part, I actually never ever touch the top part of the reed. And while we're setting up our instrument, do this. I'm not going to do it at the moment because I have to speak and tell you what to do. But put the reed in your mouth, and I'll show you right now. Put the reed in your mouth like so. And just let it soak in your mouth the whole entire time. So the reed is in your mouth and you're making sure not to bite on it, don't chew on it, because this part is super delicate. So just leave it in your mouth to get wet, and you're going to set up the rest of your instrument in your mouth the entire time. While my reed is soaking in my mouth, I'm going to take the bell. The bell is the lowest part of the clarinet. Then you want to take the lower joint. So like I said before, the upper joint is smaller than the lower joint if you put it side by side. So this is the lower joint because it's bigger. So I'm going to take the lower joint, and I'm going to make sure to twist it on my clarinet. I'm not shoving it, and I'm being very careful of all these keys while I'm twisting on the bell of the instrument. Next, I'm going to take the upper joint. So from the bell to the lower joint to the upper joint. While I'm setting it up, I'm going to keep in mind that bridge key that we spoke about earlier. So these keys on the side can tell you where the bridge key is if you look over here. All these little side keys. So I'm going to make sure that it lines up right here. And I'll show you as I do it. Once again, I'm going to twist it on, and I'm not going to shove it. So it's twisted on, and I can see that the bridge key is aligned right here. From there, I'm going to take the barrel of my instrument, and if you notice for the barrel and for the bell, which is at the bottom, It doesn't matter which way you put the bell or the barrel, but it's especially important how you put the upper joint and the lower joint together. So for the barrel, don't worry too much about where the barrel is facing. And then very close to the last part, we are going to put on our mouthpiece. So the mouthpiece is going to face the back of the clarinet. So you know that it's the back of the clarinet if you see this little thumb key here and one hole on the back. That's the back of our clarinet. And we're gonna make sure that the inside of the mouthpiece is facing that part. So once again, I'm twisting and I'm not shoving it in. And that is the top of our clarinet. So now I'm going to show you how to place the reed. For setting up the reed, you want to make sure that you have a firm grasp on your clarinet. It's going to go in your left hand because on the right hand you are going to hold your reed. So you're going to take your ligature. This is the metal part that has 2 screws. You want to make sure that it's loose enough to go right over. Sometimes if you put it upside down, it will seem like it won't fit. So you want to make sure that it's a good fit and that it's loose. So to make sure that it's loose, you're going to go lefty loosey towards you as you're looking at it. Righty goes tighty. So lefty loosey towards you to loosen the screws. I'm going to make sure that they're not super loose. Notice that I still have some space left on the screws over here. So not too loose, but loose enough that you could fit the reed underneath. You are going to take the reed. And remember, this is the back of the reed. This is what is going to lay against this board over here. If you could see, I'm going to take off the ligature. This part is placed perfectly for the reed. So that's the part that we want to slide it against. So remember, not in, but against that board. So I will show you right now. I'm going to lift this with my left hand, and the clarinet is leaning against my body while I'm doing this. I'm lifting with my left thumb, and I'm going to slide this up against it. So notice I'm never ever touching the top. I'm just wiggling it down from this middle part right here. I want to make sure that I see a little bit of black. I'm going to make sure the screws are facing forward. And once it looks perfect, I'm going to tighten it by saying righty tighty, and I'm going to make sure both screws are tight. Righty tighty. So this is how you set up the reed. Packing up my clarinet, I'm going to go from the top down. So I'm going to make sure that I'm holding my clarinet. You could also keep it between your legs while you have the other hand holding it. So I'm going to take off the ligature, then the reed, and I'm going to put the reed away properly. And notice I'm holding my clarinet the whole entire time. Reed, then mouthpiece, then I'm going to put the ligature, then I'm going to put the mouthpiece cap, and then I'll work my way down. So you can see where it fits in your case as you start to go down, because it's like a puzzle piece. So if it doesn't fit, you know, maybe it needs to go in another spot in the case. And always make sure to latch your case, close it, and make sure that it's secure before you pick it up. And that's how you pack up your clarinet. That's how you set up your clarinet. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how we hold our clarinet and make a sound on the clarinet, and maybe even play the first 3 notes. Bye.